Welcome to Global Hub Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The world was stunned. No one could have predicted what was about to unfold, a moment that would send shockwaves through international politics and leave millions speechless. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was arrested in Washington, D.C., a scene that seemed almost unimaginable just hours before. The news flashed across global networks, disbelief turning to shock as images showed the leader of a sovereign nation in handcuffs, his face grim, his future uncertain. Marcos in the U.S. for a high-stakes diplomatic summit was suddenly taken by federal agents on charges of conspiracy to import and distribute illegal substances, a charge that would rock the foundations of both countries' governments. The arrest was public, dramatic, and deliberate, a message to the world that no one, not even a sitting president, was untouchable. As he left the State Department, his motorcade was abruptly blocked by DEA agents, their vehicles forming an impenetrable barrier. The Philippine security detail, trained for every scenario except this, was quickly neutralized, their weapons confiscated in a matter of seconds. A sealed indictment, years in the making and shrouded in secrecy, was read aloud for the cameras, its contents shocking even seasoned reporters. The allegations were staggering, a web of international drug trafficking that, according to investigators, reached all the way to the highest office in the Philippines. The U.S. Department of Justice claimed to have irrefutable evidence, wiretaps capturing secret conversations, financial records tracing illicit money flows, and testimony from informants who risked everything to come forward. Their statement was clear: no one is above the law. In Manila, chaos erupted. Was it a kidnapping, a political stunt, or the unthinkable truth finally exposed for all to see? As confirmation came, a chilling silence swept the capital, soon replaced by confusion, fear, and a sense of disbelief that gripped the nation. The president of the Philippines was now in an American jail, his fate uncertain, his country left reeling. The nation was suddenly leaderless, cast into crisis with the halls of power eerily silent and the flag at half-mast. The long night had begun, and the country's future hung in the balance as families huddled around televisions, searching for answers. The legal basis for the arrest was hotly debated: international law, U.S. statutes, and diplomatic immunity all clashing in real time, with experts arguing late into the night. To Washington, it was law enforcement, justice being served, regardless of borders or titles. To Manila, it was an act of war, a violation of sovereignty that could not go unanswered, with politicians and citizens alike demanding action. Phones rang through the night, screens glowed with disbelief as the world tried to process the unprecedented events. The world watched as the Philippines faced a crisis unlike any before, its fate now a matter of global concern. The fate of a nation now rested on events far from home, as millions waited for the dawn, uncertain of what the new day would bring. Dawn in Manila brought no comfort, only panic. The president's arrest dominated every radio, TV, and phone. Crowds gathered in shock, debating the impossible news. Social media exploded. War Free BBM now trended, loyalists furious at America. War Justice for PH, opposition voices demanding accountability. The digital space became a battleground of outrage and propaganda. In homes, families argued, was this justice or foreign interference? The city's tension was palpable. Rumors of coups and embassy evacuations spread, unchecked. The government's silence only deepened the fear. Manila, usually bustling, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for answers. The capital was paralyzed by uncertainty. No official word came. The silence from Malacañang was deafening. Manila's streets erupted in chaos, exposing deep national divides that had long simmered beneath the surface. The city pulsed with tension, as if every corner was charged with the weight of history and the uncertainty of what would come next. Outside the U.S. Embassy, Marcos loyalists gathered in force, waving Philippine flags defiantly and denouncing what they saw as blatant American intervention in their nation's affairs. Their chants echoed through the night, demanding respect for their leader and their country's independence. Their anger was raw and unfiltered. This, to them, was an attack on their sovereignty, not a quest for justice. The burning of flags and furious faces revealed a deep sense of betrayal. Across town, opposition groups gathered quietly at the People Power Monument, their mood somber and wary. They lit candles and held placards, searching for hope amid the turmoil. They mourned what they saw as a national humiliation, uneasy about foreign justice but desperate for some form of accountability. The pain of the past mingled with the uncertainty of the future. Online, the war of words was vicious and relentless. Accusations of treason and fanaticism tore through families, friendships, and entire communities, leaving relationships fractured and trust eroded. The arrest forced everyone to choose a side, turning living rooms and workplaces into battlegrounds of opinion and loyalty. Clashes soon broke out between rival groups in the streets. Police struggled to keep order as chaos threatened to spiral out of control. The nation's unity was shattered, replaced by anger, suspicion, and a growing sense of distrust that seemed to infect every interaction. The streets became a battleground for the very soul of the country. The fracture felt irreparable, as if the nation itself was being torn apart before everyone's eyes. With Marcos detained, a power vacuum gripped the government. Vice President Sara Duterte was thrust into the presidency, but her authority was immediately contested. Malacanang became a hive of confusion. Cabinet members split, loyalty uncertain. Congress descended into chaos, debating the legality of Duterte's rule and condemning the U.S. The Supreme Court was pulled into the crisis, forced to interpret the Constitution in uncharted territory. Governance stalled. National security and economic decisions were paralyzed. The military and police watched warily, unsure whom to follow. The executive branch was in free fall, the nation adrift. The struggle for power threatened to tear the government apart. The crisis at the top deepened the country's peril. The arrest triggered a global diplomatic storm. The U.S. insisted the charges were criminal, not political, justice above all. Manila erupted in outrage, recalling its ambassador and demanding Marcos's release. The Philippines claimed diplomatic immunity, calling the arrest a violation of sovereignty. China seized the moment, offering support to Manila and casting doubt on America's reliability. Chinese media painted the U.S. as a bully, seeking to weaken the alliance. The Philippines was caught between two superpowers, its alliances in jeopardy. The South China Sea balance teetered as Beijing exploited the chaos. The crisis became a high-stakes chess match, with the Philippines as the pawn. The world watched as the region's future hung in the balance. The economic fallout was immediate and brutal. The Philippine stock exchange crashed, billions vanished in hours. The peso plunged to record lows as investors fled. Money changers were overwhelmed, panic gripped the markets. The central bank's interventions failed to stop the collapse. Prices of imports soared. Fuel, food, medicine. Businesses shuttered, tourism evaporated, and construction halted. Remittances from overseas workers lost value, devastating families. Inflation loomed, layoffs began, and poverty deepened. The crisis was no longer abstract. It threatened every Filipino's livelihood. Economic despair spread as fast as the political chaos. The crisis hit hardest in Filipino homes, where the warmth of family dinners was replaced by uncertainty and fear. Each night, parents tried to shield their children from the growing anxiety, but the tension was impossible to hide. Maria, a street vendor, saw the arrest as an attack on hope itself. "They took our president, our future," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. For Maria and many like her, the struggle was not just political, it was about survival. She vowed to fight for Marcos, believing his return would restore their dignity. Millions shared her anger, convinced that foreign hands were meddling in their fate. The streets echoed with chants as people demanded justice and respect for their sovereignty. Ben, a young call center agent, felt torn, ashamed by the scandal, but desperate for justice and stability. "Maybe this is the only way," he admitted, his voice heavy with doubt. He worried about his job, his family, and the country's future, fearing for the nation's sovereignty and his own place in it. In the military, Sergeant Reyes faced a new kind of uncertainty. "We follow orders, but who gives them now?" he wondered aloud, as his men grew anxious and divided, unsure of where their loyalty should lie. The chain of command was broken, discipline strained by confusion and fear. The unity that once defined the armed forces was now threatened by doubt. Overseas, families like Elena's in Batangas suffered as remittances lost value overnight. "How will I buy milk for the baby?" she wept, her husband's sacrifice suddenly worth less. The dreams of a better life seemed to slip further away. The crisis was no longer distant, it was a daily struggle for survival. Food became scarce, prices soared, and every meal was a reminder of what had been lost. The political earthquake sent shockwaves through every household, as families gathered around televisions, hoping for good news that never seemed to come. Filipinos coped with fear, anger, and uncertainty, leaning on each other for comfort and strength. Communities came together, even as divisions deepened. The nation's pain was personal, not just political. Every tear shed was a testament to the struggle within each home. The military's stability was tested as never before, with officers and soldiers questioning their roles and responsibilities in a country on the brink. The poor bore the brunt of the economic collapse, their daily hardships magnified by the crisis. For many, hope was a luxury they could no longer afford. The crisis united and divided, forging new lines of loyalty and loss. Families and friends found themselves on opposite sides, yet some discovered new bonds in shared adversity. Every Filipino felt the tremors of a nation in turmoil. In every corner of the country, the struggle was real, and the story was shared, a people searching for hope amid the storm. Days passed, and uncertainty hardened into crisis. The leadership void deepened as Duterte's authority was openly challenged. Public services faltered, garbage piled up, hospitals ran short of medicine, protests intensified, highways blocked, clashes turned violent. Lawlessness crept in. Police struggled to maintain order. The international community called for calm, but mediation failed. The US and Philippines remained deadlocked, relations in tatters. The country grew isolated, its reputation shattered. Neighborhoods formed watch groups, sharing resources and fear. Schools closed, families hoarded essentials, anxiety ruled daily life. The nation teetered on the edge of instability and depression. The path forward was dark, the future uncertain. The Philippines stared into the abyss. The crisis forced a national reckoning. What if the allegations are true? Can the nation accept justice from a foreign court? And what does that say about its own system? What if the charges are false? Is this proof of foreign meddling? And what does it mean for Philippine independence? The crisis challenged the meaning of loyalty, justice, and leadership. Is leadership about popularity, or integrity and law? The answers won't come from Washington or Manila, but from the soul-searching of every Filipino. The nation stands at a crossroads, haunted by questions with no easy answers. The future will be shaped by the conversations happening in every home, every street, across the archipelago.